Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going on to technology. Technology you'll find on Learn 2023, but for us, remember our personal little thing that we've got going, it's session 9, just so you know how, in what order to listen to them or to watch them. Right, we're going on to technology. What is technology? It says technology is context bound. It means where you find yourself, where you work. What do you want to improve? Where you find yourself doing something that can be done easier. Now, there are lots of things on Learn 2023, on the power presentation, about things that have changed, like the cell phone. First of all, when we started, you had a telephone that was on the wall and you had to almost jack it up and then take the receiver off and speak to somebody in the post office who put you through to whoever you wanted to speak to. So it took quite a long time. Then it was lifting it up and dialing the number. Then it was the big brick cell phone that pulled your pants off, remember? And then it became the tiny little thing, and now it's a little bit bigger, but it can do anything except wash the dishes, okay? Now, how did we get so involved with technology? Let me show you a few things, all right? Let's first have a look at this iron. Now, this iron is what they used probably 100 years ago. They'd make a little fire almost in there of hot coals, and they'd put it inside, and then they'd take this thing, which is as heavy as anything, and they would iron their clothes because it would heat the bottom. From there, it moved to this that works with electricity and even steams it eventually. They worked out. Instead of just wetting the clothes and then ironing them, you can do it all just with this iron. Milk was delivered like this in little glass bottles. What happened to it? Well, bottles would break. It would take a long time for them to deliver it to the house. So technology, somebody started thinking out of the box and saying, you know what, we don't have to put milk in bottles. Why don't we go and get cartons? Why don't we put milk into cartons? Why don't we sell those cartons in packs of 8? And that is how technology develops things. You won't remember this, but long, long ago, when I was young, this is how we listened to music. You bought a record, a vinyl, and you put it onto the radiogram, and it had a fine little needle that turned and played the music. And later on, it went into, first of all, cassettes, which I don't have one of, which had bands, and you could put it into your radio, into your car. It worked with little tapes, and then you could bring it out and you could have it in your bedroom or your lounge. And then they went to CDs. Now, all of you walk around with those things in your ears and you're listening to it on your cell phone. Here's another thing that the ladies might be interested in. Hundreds of years ago, when my grandmother was young, she used a thing like this to curl her hair. And this thing was put into, I don't know whether any of you know about a primus. It's a little, it looked like a little stove, and it had a flame, and you'd put this into the flame and you'd heat it till it's very, very hot. And then you'd put it into your hair and you'd turn it. Not only would it break your hair, but it would curl your hair. And that's how they curled it. And this is how straighteners started. Now you get electric straighteners that you put in your hair and you can pull it and straighten it. So all these kind of things developed so that it made life a lot easier for us. If you wanted to develop with hair, if you wanted to develop music, if you wanted to develop things in the kitchen, like a microwave, like an air fryer, that's all technology. People say technology is computers. It's not. Technology is anything that makes life easier for us, no matter where we are. Now, we are not interested really in what makes life interesting outside the classroom. We're interested in what makes things easier inside the classroom. So this is why you see children today with these little tablets sitting working on their own. Headphones on. This is why you see people on whiteboards and smart boards instead of these old-fashioned chalkboards, where all the children had to come together, watch each other and copy from each other and write the answers onto the board. Here you'll see, long ago, when they did any work, each one had a little chalkboard called a slate. And if the teacher asked 5 add 4, they had to write the answer on and then hold the board up and the teacher would look at it. Can you imagine how long that took? Now, when we talk about people thinking out of the box, have a look at this man. Solar panel, charging phones, charging tablets, and making a little bit of money. Entrepreneurial. Here you'll see this was the start of an electric mixer. Here she is, stamping the middies, trying to get it fine before she can bake any bread. And we do exactly the same in our kitchen now by putting it into, we don't put that into the mixer, but we can put anything in there and we can mash it up as thin, almost like a liquid. Here, no electricity, but solar panels. Now, all this is technology. Okay? Now, how can technology make teaching easier for us and more interesting? Because that, after all, is what we want. We talk about being creative. Creative doesn't mean that we can actually act very nicely. Yes, we need to act, but we need to be creative in our ideas of thinking, how can we get these children interested in this lesson so that they don't start fiddling and they don't become mismanaged with classroom mismanagement. Right, so there are lots of things that we can use. Cell phones can be used. I remember walking into a classroom and a teacher, short little teacher, saying to me at grade 10 class, she said, oh, the screen and everything doesn't work, so now I can't show them the video, so I'm just going to use my cell phone. And I thought, oh, this is not going to work very well. And she got them seated, pulled out the cell phone, switched on the video, and off it went. Not a sound. Because children are used to this. This is their life. So you can use your cell phone for all kinds of things. CD player, you can use that. You can use this overhead projector, which I'll show you about just now. So you'll see in this PowerPoint presentation slide all the different types that you will find in a classroom. Now, what is classroom technology? There is no universal definition of classroom technology. We can't find a definition for it because it's changing all the time, just like computers. I go out and buy a computer today that can do this and it can do that and the next thing, and by next week there's a new one out again that can do something else. So it's ever changing. So we can't really say this is the definition of classroom technology. However, we shall explore the various principles, constructs and beliefs that constitute classroom technology. the technology used in classrooms are used to enhance teaching and assist us to get that information into their heads. I want to make it easier for me to be able to teach with this. Right, so I'm not going to go through all this. You can have a look at that. Here is a chalkboard, and here is a whiteboard, making it so much easier because it can be rubbed out straight away, and we can also change lessons. So once I'm giving a lesson, it can go on in some lesson in Johannesburg, in a classroom there. This is how we have progressed with classroom technology. This is an overhead projector, and I'm really hoping that all of you have seen this piece of machinery. I say machinery, it isn't. It's very, very easy to use. Now, when you get out there and you start doing your teaching, go into a room that is locked, that nobody's been into for many, many years. It won't be haunted, but there will be a few of these lying around under dust with books on top of them. Because teachers don't want to use this. It's easier to stand with a textbook. I've been doing this for 20 years. Why must I change now? Well, you must change now because it's technology. We are moving forward. Nobody wants to go backwards. So, this machine works with a little bulb that costs about 3,000 Rand, very expensive, but the advantage is that you use overhead this goes onto the overhead projector, and it is viewed onto a screen or a white sheet or a white wall. It doesn't matter what it is. And while I'm teaching, I can write on this and change the picture, so that if I'm giving a lesson, for instance, like this, on the life cycle, can everybody see it, of a silkworm, I can put it on and I can change it and show everybody how it works. So I'll start like this and say, how did we get to this part? What is the next one? It's a pupa. And what does it become eventually? The adult. And I can teach as I'm going along, take it off, and I can ask learners about it. Makes it a lot easier. Here's another one, just to show you. This is just a picture of it, but you could have evaporation, you could have condensation, which they have to come and put in the correct place and explain the water cycle to the class. So you're testing, you're assessing with this. It's a very easy way of teaching. And I really encourage you to find one of these in this school, if there is one, and to try and work it out. Okay, what are the advantages of bringing technology into the classroom? I'm not going to read through all of them, but here are a few. It allows for group work, because I keep this on here and I can put the children into groups and they can work at their own pace. I don't have to say, is everybody finished now? I'm going to move to the next one. Is everybody finished now? Wastes time. So they're all in their groups and they are working from something here, either on the overhead projector or whatever you've used. It caters for mixed ability teaching. You're not going to have them all with the same IQ sitting in front of you. Some are going to understand quicker than others. It helps to foster a network community, globalization. I can get children to speak to my class from New Zealand, from America, wherever. And it globalizes us, it brings us closer, because they can start telling us about what their school is like, and we can tell them what our school is like. So there are all kinds of advantages about this. Now, you have an assignment here on technology. And I'm quickly just going to go through it with you so that it makes it a little bit easier for you. The technology assignment you will find on Learn 2023, and it looks like this. There are examples, first of all, of what you can make out of waste. When we think that things are finished, we're actually going to make something else out of them. So here you see some milk bottles, plastic milk bottles. Here you see some plastic milk bottles, and they have made something out of it. On the second page, you will find this plastic container, and they have made a little flower pot out of it. And here they've made a lamp. Now, I don't want you to go and make this. I want you to think of something out of the box. Be creative. Go and have a look at your home. Don't go and buy anything. I'm not saying buy anything. I'm saying go outside and have a look at what's lying around and see what you can make from that waste. We've seen some beautiful things being made by students. Now, this is what you have to do. You have to, on the third page, you have to take 3 photographs of you making this thing. So the first photograph will be of all the things that you have ready. The second photograph will be you busy making it. And the third photograph will be you showing us what you've made and how you can use it. Those photos go in here. And then you give a brief description on how the product can be used. Now, you have to then WhatsApp me a video of you showing me your photos and telling me how you would use that. I hope you all understand. Don't go and spend too much time. Don't spend days and days on this now. You don't have the time. But go and have a look around your homes and see what's lying around. And think creatively, think out of the box, and try and think of something that you can make. Take the photographs, WhatsApp it to me in a video as you show me what you've made and tell me about it. Of course, the more you tell me, the better marks there'll be. Don't just stand there like a dummy and say, I made this. I can't give you a lot of marks for that. So think carefully before you do your video. Read through your presentation skills and know exactly what you want to say, and say it clearly. Don't mumble here, so I can't hear. Old lady now, so clearly, speak clearly, and move and show me exactly what it is. If you don't understand, WhatsApp me straight away so I can explain it to you again. Thanks very much.